Hey, Confirmation Nation, it's Pastor Fred, and I'm here with another one of our Truth Matters videos, and we are really moving along in the 10 Commandments. We are on the Seventh Commandment, and this one is the one that talks about stealing. And as we've been tracking these, it's kind of a cool progression, right? We start at the beginning, we start at the top, we start with the most important thing, and that is who God is. He's the one that made us. He's the one, in fact, that made everything and holds everything together and loves us. And so commandment number one is that we don't have any other gods but Him. There's nothing else more important than Him. I mean, that's where everything kind of not only begins but ends, right? And everything in the middle is about Him. And so those first three commandments we learned were about, who He is, and that we should worship Him. We should take His, keep His name holy, and so that was all about Him. And then we get into the fourth commandment. We talked about honoring our parents, and then in the fifth commandment we talked about not murdering. Last week we talked about not committing adultery. So we're getting into relationships. We're getting into deeply into how we treat each other. And today we're going to talk about our stuff. So it's really important. So what I want you to do is just pause this for a moment, have a little discussion with your parents about what you think it means that you should not steal. Think about that. Have you ever stolen anything? Have you ever, and I don't mean just stuff. Sometimes we can steal people's time. We can steal people's enthusiasm. We do a lot of things. We rob people of what's theirs. And so I want you to just turn this off for a second and just have a little bit of discussion about what it means to steal. All right, so you're back. I always find, to find the answer, let's not just look at what we think, but let's look at what God says and what's in the Catechism. And so as we look, and I'm reading from page 30 of our discussion guide here. It says you shall not steal. That's the seventh commandment. And what does this mean? This is what Luther said it means. That we should fear and love God so that we don't take our neighbor's money or possessions or get them in any dishonest way, but help him to improve and protect his possessions and income. And there's that positive spin on it that he always puts. He's like, okay, it's not just about not doing something. It's always going to be about, okay, so what should we be doing? Because it's kind of easy to say, well, I've never stolen, never robbed a bank. I mean, you could even go to that extreme and say, so this really doesn't apply to me. I really don't have to think about it. It's not really going to look at anything seriously. I don't have to do that. And, I want to say that this applies to all of us, because it's not just whether we've, done a bank job or something, and I'd be willing to bet that none of us have. But how have we treated other people's possessions? Right? There's obviously grabbing and taking something that's not yours. And a lot of times in this world today, we think it's okay to steal little things, right? You steal a paper clip from work. You steal, maybe something that was in the lost and found somewhere. And it's like, wait a second, it's not yours. How about things like programs online, like a game? You might be like, man, I'm getting this for free. And a lot of people will do that because it's accessible and it's a whole lot better than paying for it. But the problem is, and you have to ask yourself the question, and with my kids and with others in my life, when they'll say, well, my friend wants to give me this game, and he says, we got it for free. And I'd say, well, shouldn't you have to pay for that? Well, yeah, but and it's kind of like everybody's doing it, and who is it hurting? And the problem is, you got to ask yourself, is that really mine? Like, did I buy it? Did I pay money and did I purchase it? Now, it's one thing if somebody gives you something that is theirs for free. Like the one who wrote that program, right? The one who created that game says, hey, I want you to have this and you don't have to pay for it. That's a gift, and that's okay. But when you have no connection with that person, you go to a website and download it and get it for free, and don't pay for it at all, well, that's called pirating, it's called stealing, and it's a big problem, because what winds up happening, just from a practical standpoint, is that things wind up costing a lot more money, because that's how things work, right? People create things and they deserve to be paid for them. They create music, and so they should get paid for it. They shouldn't have somebody, putting a copy that's not authorized on YouTube so that everybody can listen to it. Well, that person has to eat. Their family has to have a house, and they have to pay their bills, just like we do. And so part of this is understanding how the framework of how our economy works and how things work and how it's always worked, right? You work, you get paid, and then you can buy things. And people sell things, and they need that to support their families. All throughout the whole system, that's how it works. And when somebody says, you know what, no, I'm going to take that, whether it's from a store, whether it's from a website, or whatever it happens to be, it's still stealing if the answer to the question is no, that's not mine, and no, I did not pay for it, and no, a third one, it wasn't a gift. Okay, so if you're checking all those boxes, then that's probably something stolen, and you should probably erase that from your computer, or just pay for the legit copy. It's just really important. So you see, in our world, it's become way more complicated. And so, again, if it's not yours, don't take it. In fact, God would have us go a step further. And He would say to us, are we protecting somebody's property? Are we trying to get something in a dishonest way? Do we talk down whatever that person has? Say, you don't really like that game. That game's terrible. When all along, you just want them to give it to you. And so you've kind of done that in a dishonest way. In the business world, people they'll say, well, it's not really stealing. I just forced them to have to give me their company or give me their product. Well, you didn't get it in an honest, upright way. Again, was it yours? Right? Did you pay for it? And again, if the answer is no, it's probably stealing. And at the heart of this should be a healthy sense of generosity, a healthy sense of, hey, I want to help the other people in my life. I want to safeguard their possessions. I want to safeguard their job. I don't want them to lose their job so that I can take it. And someone might say, well, that's not stealing. Well, yeah, it is, because it's not yours to take in any way, in any shape, or any form. And so if you can even dig even deeper to where your treasure is. At the beginning of our workbook, and it's a great passage from Luke 12. I want to read it to you. This is Luke 12, 32 to 34. Jesus said, "Fear not, little flock, for it's your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." So God is generously giving us His kingdom. He generously says, hey, I'm going to be your king, and I'm going to reign in your life, and you're going to have everything that you could possibly need. So He loves to do that. So He is incredibly generous, more than we could even imagine. And so He says, so the Father wants to give you the kingdom, so you have all you need. So sell your possessions, give to the needy, provide with money bags that don't grow old, with a treasure in the heavens that does not fail, where no thief approaches and no moth destroys. For where your treasure is, and here it is, there your heart will be also. See, that's at the heart of this. That's why we would steal something. And that's what we want to get at. That's what I want, after this is over, I want you to really sit down and pray about this. Like, where is your treasure? Like, what do you really think is the most important thing in your life? You gotta have it. You can't live without it, because what happens is that's the heart of stealing. Because it says, hey, I don't have that and I have to have it, so I'm going to steal it. And God all along is saying that He's our treasure. His kingdom, it's all that we need. He is all that we need. With Him, we have forgiveness, we have life, we have hope. He gives us the ability to work. He gives us the ability to study, the ability to do all of these great things. And blesses us and blesses us and blesses us. And He wants us, listen to this, He wants us to be, in our lives, to be about blessing others. To say, hey, can I bless you? Can I bless you? Can I bless you with what I have? And I want to make sure that you can get more. And I'm going to make sure it's safe. And I'm going to protect you, right? That's the the commandment of fifth commandment about not killing, right? I'm going to protect their physical life, and that includes their stuff, because I want to be generous. I don't want to be stealing. I want to be giving. So we'll see you next time as we get into the eighth commandment, which is a really, really awesome topic, and we'll see you next week for that one.